have a quorum? Randy?
Confirmed, yes.
Very well. Excellent. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time to come. Unfortunately, Marshall Cohen, our chairman, was unable to make this meeting, so I will be running this in his absence. I'd like to ask you, one, do you have seen the draft agenda for today's meeting? Do I have any comments or questions about the agenda? And hearing none, we'll move forward with this agenda. If there's any new business you all bring up, we can certainly add it underneath that. We also have a copy of the minutes from our last meeting that are in your package. And I would ask, if you haven't had a chance to look at them, please take a quick look and tell me if those minutes are acceptable for our review and approval.
Move to approve.
Okay, a motion, second. Any discussion? Very well, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well, it carries. Thank you for the approval of the meeting minutes. As you know, we meet 4 times a year, once every quarter, as we're required to do so. And there's a number of things we're responsible for doing here in the state of Virginia as we are a task between organization under the office of the governor. And one of those is to provide a annual report and a number of other things. But at this particular meeting in December, it would appear that our responsibility every year is to the re-election of officers. And I have determined by some discussions that it is acceptable for officers to run for more than one term if it's the will of the board, but nonetheless, it's something we need to do. And we've had a couple of changes. Marshall Cohen, who was our chair of the first year, 2014, has indicated that he will no longer be able to serve as part of this authority and will not run for chairman. Unfortunately, our esteemed treasurer, Sama, who we love dearly, has been reassigned to the consortium that will, in order to make sure that that one runs well, they put her there to manage the activities, having had the experience, I believe, of serving on the authority board to ensure our coordination and communication to that group and their implementation of the activities we've given them will work well. Bob Bailey, of course, is still with us. He is our current secretary. And then we have the list of members. I don't know if you've seen the list of members, but if you have not, everyone, it is currently in the back of this Virginia Nuclear Energy Consortium annual
Yeah, it's
report.
the very last page.
It's the last page of the annual report.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to that, as Randy said to us, Virginia Tech and UVA have assigned new representatives to our board. And I would like, at this point, if we could, to have these individuals present themselves and just give us a little bit of background. The first one is Dr. Gary Tepper, who's professor and chair of the Virginia Commonwealth University Department of Mechanical and Nuclear Engineering. Gary?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be part of this group. I've been at DC since 1997. I'm currently the chairman of the Department of Mechanical and Nuclear Engineering. And I don't know, there are some biographical information with many of you, and look forward to continuing to work.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you with us. We look forward to working collaboratively and closely with you during this period of time. The other 2 gentlemen, if you see from the email that Randy sent on Wednesday, November 26th, I don't think they are here. So unfortunately, they have not been able to attend, but there is a new individual from Virginia and a new individual from Virginia Tech. So we'll be reaching out to them to make sure they understand that attendance is not optional. If you're going to serve on this board, you're going to be expected to attend. Okay, excellent. Let's see how they react to that.
Is Marshall Cohen stepping down from the board?
That it was unclear in the note he sent me that with the changes at B&W, he said he was not able to take time.
I think he is.
Yeah.
B&W is splitting, doing more of a split, which you're aware of, and Marshall's going to be on the non-nuclear side.
Yeah, that's the impression I'm left with, that Marshall is not only not running for chair, he won't even serve on the board any longer.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they want to find somebody from the nuclear side of the house.
Yeah.
And I don't yet know who that is.
Yeah.
And I suspect we'll just have to wait and find out who that is, but I think that Marshall wanted to make clear to us that he would not be running for chair again and would not be able to continue his participation in the board with us.
Jim Furl, if you want to find out what his thought is.
Sure, please. You know, we have so much horsepower on this board, we ought to be able to find out just about anything.
Bill Fox, I believe, is the gentleman who's serving on the consortium from BMW, so he'll have to stay over there, but I'm not sure. I'm sure they got a bunch of good people.
Well, in your stuff about the consortium, you have a list of who you think is going to be the consortium members anyway.
Yeah.
And I imagine we'll get to that. So at this point in the agenda, we are supposed to do the election of officers. Now, I apologize because last year I served as a chair of a nominating committee, and we came up with names and presented those to you for your consideration for the different positions of chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. This time we have not done that. So we are in a position where we're going to have to take nominations from the floor, discuss them, and decide who will serve in 2015 as the 4 officer positions, chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. I could start at the bottom and find out if Bob is willing to serve as our secretary again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I move that we elect Bob secretary by acclamation.
I second
Okay,
it.
I have a motion second, and I'll have the affirmation vote. Does anybody second that?
I second.
Yeah. Do we have any discussion? All in favor of Bob Bailey remaining our secretary for the calendar year 2015, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Don't say it, Bob.
Just so that the treasurer position, that right now the authority does not have any revenue or any money coming through, so there's not really no actual responsibilities with the position at this time. That it was instructed in a way that it could at some point deal with financial issues. So don't feel like you have to worry about cashing in checks or anything like that.
Well, wait a minute. You said you were doing all these things with all this
My
money.
gosh, I was I paid my vacation.
Yeah, all 31 cents.
Yeah.
But we are required by our bylaws to elect a treasurer. So do I have someone who is willing to serve as treasurer? Yes? Yeah. Anyone else? Very well. Do I have a motion to approve Nellis as our treasurer?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Second. Any discussion? Very well. All in favor of making our treasurer, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well. That was easy. Okay. Now we need to decide on our chair and vice chair.
I nominate you for chair.
I second the nomination.
Yeah, when I was vice chair, the first thing that Marshall did was he said, "Okay, Donald, you're going to do all the work." I said, "Oh man!" So,
So
with
now
that,
you find somebody to do all the
yeah, the way I love that. That's the way part of it. Thank you for not. Okay, for chair, I've been nominated for chair, and second. Do I have any discussion? If you'd like, I would be happy to serve as your chair in 2015. All in favor of Donald Hoffman serving as your chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries. Now we have to find somebody that I can hand everything off to. Okay, so who here, I don't want to just although Sam can attest, and I've done this before, just assign people things. Who here would like to serve as the vice chair of this esteemed organization? Okay, don't all step at once.
I volunteer the health person who is elected as the vice chair, since the treasurer's role may have some flexibility and some accommodation in time to assist.
In that case, I'll volunteer.
Say again, sir?
I don't suppose it's appropriate to nominate Dean
Gary? Okay. We have an individual who's volunteered to be vice chair. Do I have a motion to approve Gary as being our vice chair?
So moved.
I have a motion. Second. Any discussion? All in favor of Gary being the vice chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Gary.
Your first
Very good.
meeting.
Yeah.
Vice Chair.
Wow.
Wow.
8 minutes, and he goes from the newbie to number 2 in line. Now, you better watch out.
The truth is, he has been sort of in this loop from the
Yeah.
beginning, so I think that's,
Yeah, I know Gary
Really
well,
appropriate.
and it's a heartbeat away.
Gary, the fact that you're vice chair doesn't mean you're not responsible for everything still. That's one thing I discovered in 2014.
You really sold the position.
Yeah, it was like, wait a minute. So, prepare yourself. Well, thank you for that, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to our old business, Roman number 4, which is consortium organizational update.
Yeah.
Randy?
Yes, progress is being made. That is not that. If you looked at the minutes closely, we were supposed to have had that meeting of the consortium to get organized already. Due to some schedule issues, assignment of people to serve on the consortium, and frankly, workload on my behalf, it hadn't got done yet. Right now, we have identified, the points of contact have been identified for 8 of the 9 group of 8 of the 9 members. That I've been communicating with them about dates. When we tried to get it done in December, obviously I offered like 14 different dates, and we couldn't get. And it looks like we're not going to have more than 3 people that can do it in one day. So I think we're going to try to do that first 10 days of January to get that set up. At that meeting, we will do some of the mechanical stuff of electing chairman, vice chairman, they'll have discussion about bylaws, articles of incorporation. We will communicate the letter that the authority had approved back in the summer about what the consortium's responsibilities are, so that they could get some direction from the beginning. Our expectation is that we will receive a report from the consortium at our first quarter meeting next year. So if we can get them set up the first week or 2 days of January, then I'm assuming we'll meet March-ish. That should give them some time to actually start moving forward on what they're going to do. So that there were 9 members recruited at $25,000 apiece. So they have enough money to get going. One thing that I'm going to encourage them, and I'd like your thoughts on what else that you guys think they should do initially. I think there's opportunity. Maybe 25 might have been too much for some folks. I think there may be other groups where you might be able to have some kind of associate membership, or not the founding membership levels, so they can get some more people involved in the group, so that they can be kind of strengthened going forward. But I can send you guys the list of who the members are. A lot of them are colleagues of yours, but I don't want to get any. Because I'm going off memory right now, so I don't want to get any names wrong. But everyone has been responsive and helpful. I have to admit to David that I spelled Carrie's last name wrong in the email that I sent him, so it was a little bit of a delay there. But God's my witness, will be up and running, and you'll get a report from them at the next meeting. And I think that this board's role will be a lot of direction, receiving reports from them, and then that we can use some of the heft that we have in the relationships that we have on this board, communicating more with policymakers, legislators, and the state-facing side of things, to make sure that all of our friends, in the building I work in, and the General Assembly know the importance of nuclear energy and the great things that we're doing. So that's a short update on the consortium. Again, I apologize that I don't have more concrete stuff of actually that they're doing things right now, but it's very, very close. That's about it. I know that Don had expressed interest in attending the first meeting to kind of communicate a little bit about what we think about that one thing that I have suggested for Bob Bailey is that that there'll need to be some kind of support staff for at least the first month